It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady from Denver, Colorado. She grew up as a nature girl. She started the Green Team Academy, and she's got a new book coming out in June of 2020. We'll be talking about that. And she, just got back from a virtual summit on grassroots climate action, and tell a little bit about that. And we'll have her back on the back later on as well too to talk more. And she's an expert in helping people start their own environmental team and make a real difference in their community. She's an advocate of climate change and more. And live, ladies and gentlemen, a Rocky Mountain High and home of John Denver. She's probably singing it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the nature girl herself, Joan Gregerson. Joan, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Wow, what an introduction. Yeah, I kind of want to break into my own version of Rocky Mountain High. You guys ready?
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. It's okay.
Well,
we can do it together.
Okay.
Rocky Mountain High,
Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Well, that'll be for next time. We'll get the words down. We'll have to rehearse. So
Exactly. Well, people think it's because we legalized marijuana now that's that name, but yeah, that's the Rocky Mountain High.
What?
But no, it's really the mountains.
Yes, it is, and very beautiful indeed too. Love to visit out there, and you've been an advocate for climate change, and you're also an expert in helping people start their own environmental team. You're also the founder of Green Team Academy. You've got a new book coming out, Climate Action Breakthrough, and of course, you've been on a virtual summit as well too, back in April. And before we get into all of that, tell us how I got started.
Yeah, that's a great question. And before I do that, I just want to say thank you so much and hello to everybody. I was so excited to be part of this, and I loved listening to the earlier episodes. Hearing all the musicians and all the folks that you've been talking to. So thanks so much. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, how I got started in this. Well, I grew up in Denver, one of 8 kids.
Wow.
And, back in the day, so like I'm almost 60, I think all of us were nature kids, right?
Yeah, naturally.
we only, yeah, exactly. We only had one choice. And I think in particular for me, because my mom, trying to make meals for 10 people 3 times a day, that she would often just say, get outside, go outside and play. And
exactly.
So get out from under my feet so I can get something done here. So, we spent a lot of time just climbing trees and then going up to the mountains and playing in the river and stuff like that. And I think it wasn't until I moved to South Korea and I was in a big city. I was in Busan, which is the second biggest city of, 5 million or so, that was the first time I realized that not having that access to nature, I didn't feel so good. I had been using or enjoying nature as a healer and then kind of on a day-to-day basis without realizing it until it was gone. So yeah, that's kind of how I think it was, just growing up doing this. And then the other kind of kooky thing is my first job when I was 10 years old was working for my dad, and he was a petroleum engineer. So
Okay.
my first job was plotting oil and gas production data.
Interesting. So it sounds like survey work, where the pipes are, where they're about to be put, where you find oil and everything. That's interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't, I'm sure people with more skills did that part. This was back when we used to use pencil and paper, and so it was called log paper and a log curve, and so you just give me a sheet with a bunch of numbers on it, like production per month, and I would just plot them. And the thing that I noticed after about the fifth one was that after you plot out the data, you take a curve and you draw it out to zero, because that's how you estimate how much oil is left in that well.
Wow.
And by about the fifth one, I didn't know the word finite, but I was like, Dad, what are we doing here? Like our cars, everything, like our homes, everything's heated and run on this stuff, and it's all going to go to zero at some point. And he was saying, yeah, well, I've been telling people about this. And then that was like 1970. So then 1970 was first big Earth Day, and something like 10% of the population of the U.S. came out on that day. And then in also 1970, it was the start of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency here in the U.S., the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act. And so I thought, oh my gosh, the adults, like, they've got it together. They're going to protect the environment.
Huh.
Yeah. So then by around when I was getting ready to go to college, which was 1978, Carter was in office. He was putting solar on the White House. And so I went into school to University of Colorado and said, well, I want to study solar. And they said, we don't have it. And that right there, that should have been my first clue. But maybe the adults didn't really have it. But yeah, so they said, go into engineering. That's what I did. And I started working in energy efficiency and sustainability. And what I found out was that mentality, that project mentality, a lot of times we do these big projects, like convince a city to do few $1 million projects of energy efficiency upgrades. And a lot of times they wouldn't get all the savings. But what I realized, it was because we were ignoring the people. We just put in equipment. And so then later I ended up in Longmont, Colorado, after there was a big, huge flood, like 500-year event. And I thought, wow, I want to be part of the sustainability group here, because that's, they say climate action or climate change increases the extremes of weathers. So when you have more water in the atmosphere, higher temperature, more water, then the weather events are more extreme. So I tried to join something and there wasn't anything. So my last resort was to just start something. And within 2 years, we changed the course of that city. And I was like, wait a minute. I was trying to do this all along as an engineer. So you're telling me, so then I went on to start something in Denver, and a similar kind of thing happened in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And so after a while, I realized that when we're talking about protecting the environment, really the number one thing, like the number one climate action, should be start a team.
Mm-hmm.
But instead it's like, use more renewables or eat local food. But the number one thing should be start a team and then do those other things. So that's kind of the wobbly road that brought me to being the Green Team Academy person.
Mm-hmm. And of course, back in 2014, we accidentally found an environmental nonprofit group in Longmont, which changed the course of the city for the better as well. And of course, we went on to others. And also, I think I just wanted to find out as well, too, what was that one moment that influenced you, precisely, get involved in the green movement? We talked about, how you got in general, like, say, you went with your dad, you plotted and Earth Day and everything like that. And what was like that one precise moment, maybe in a conversation or like an event or something, very precise? if you can just recall, like say, what was that one moment? That's very precise. That got you go green.
Well, I think that I'll answer that part. I think that I thought everybody cared about the planet. Like I wrote my first poem. Okay, maybe this is it. I wrote a poem when I was 10 years old. My first writing that was published, I was 10 years old. And it was about pollution, and it was published in the Denver Post. So, I think that is actually the moment, because we have something in Denver called the brown cloud. Because we're near the mountains, the way that the pollution hangs, you can see it hanging around Denver. And as soon as at 10 years old, when I saw that, I was like, hey guys, this thing is happening. Maybe we should fix it. So I think that's what started it, is when I saw it, and I was like, hey, this is a real thing. We should do something about it.
And of course, we'll talk about your book as well, too. That's coming up, and some of the steps you can follow. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Joan Gregerson of the Green Tea Academy from Denver, Colorado, on the Mike Wagner Show. We're going to talk about your new book that will be coming out in June of 2020 called Climate Action Breakthrough. And tell us more about the book and what inspired you to write it.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty darn excited about this. I had this idea about writing the book to, as I was saying earlier, that I figured out that just being passionate about the environment, there's a lot of us, like pretty much everybody, right? We know that we are the environment. I mean, we're made of water and air and minerals, so like healthy world is healthy for us, for our kids. So we all know that, but I think the thing that I found was I wasted decades just because I thought just being passionate and trying stuff would be enough. But I saw that it didn't work. And another crazy statistic, Mike, is that between 1970 and 2014, the average population, wildlife population now, is 40% of what it was. So that means, that this is mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians. The population of mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians have on average declined by 60% between 1970 and 2014. That was from Our Living Planet report that was published in 2018.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, but I was going to say, listen to that statistic, you say about climate change and, the animals they're falling off by 60%. Do you think also that the poaching and also the killing of animals and also the maybe accidental, like say running over animals or, say hunting, do you think that could have contributed as well too, besides climate change?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And really, I mean, my focus is everything with the environment. I named my book Climate Action Breakthrough because I thought that was a way to find people who were looking for it. But I think this heartbreak, for me to think that somebody born into the world now would have 4 mammals compared to when I was born where there was 10.
Wow.
Like, that's crazy. And so I think that's the reason I'm writing the book, is because that a lot of people care. They do things like recycling. They, try and conserve water. And then if there's a petition or something they think is important, they might sign the petition or maybe even call their representative. But in my experience, what I've found is this middle thing, which is start a team.
Mm-hmm. And how?
Yeah, go ahead.
And how do you start your own successful green team?
Well, that is a great question. And one thing I should mention right now is on the website Green Team Academy, and it's team, TEAM. I have so much information. I have a podcast too. There's 60 some episodes on there, and I have Green Team Essentials is here's the top mistakes that green teams make. So you don't have to do those same mistakes, but I could tell you some of the mistakes people make and what to do instead. But if you're interested in this, definitely head over there. I also do this Earth Week Summit, so I've interviewed 20 some people each year. So there's a bunch of stuff there if you're interested. But yeah, so your question, how do you start an effective team? Well, I think I'll first give you an example of what not to do by what I did. I lived in Niwot, a small town of Niwot, for 17 years. And that was right after college. And we just had our second daughter. So, a few years out of college. And I was working, doing the energy efficiency stuff. I was trying to get a recycling center in our town. And so I didn't know this thing about starting a team. And so what I did was I called the city, I called the county, and I called the recycling place like a couple hundred times.
After all, you lost count. I can imagine that. But
yeah, exactly. So, over the course of a year or two, I finally, there's a recycling center there, and, I got an award, and it's still there, and it's awesome. But then I left, and there was no team. Nobody carried on. And when you compare that to when I went to Longmont and I started a team, then the first thing that we did was we decided I couldn't get people in the city interested in it. And they were saying at that time there had been a very, conservative or very anti-environmental, or I don't know what their deal was, but they told the city staff, don't work on sustainability. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of crazy because if you look it up, sustainability, it just means don't wreck the place. It's not that controversial of an idea. But anyhow, so I first called it Sustainable Revolution Longmont because I thought, okay, well, if we can't find people in the city to work with us, then it's a revolution. And so one of the things that we did was we decided to have an Earth Day festival. And this is one of the things that I recommend that people do is, so Earth Day is kind of like, Earth Day to the environmental movement is like Valentine's Day is to Hallmark. Uh-huh. Just do something. It's the one day, and it's April 22nd, but around that time people start hearing about Earth Day, and it's the one time that they'll go, hey, what should we do? So you want to be ready to have something on Earth Day. And the other cool thing about doing an Earth Day festival, and by the way, this the Earth Week Summit that I do, that is all online. I just finished my second year doing it. Man, that was a lucky break for me to have an online event because all the other ones got canceled.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really wild. But the point is, whether you do it online, you do it in person, you plan one thing, you can pivot and come up with something else, if something crazy like a pandemic comes through. But so the cool thing about planning an Earth Day festival is when you get people together, I've seen this so many times, but you get people together and say, hey, let's work on something around the environment. And everybody's like, yes. And then they all want to work on completely different things. So, one guy wants to teach people how to repair bikes.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like the tree lady, and she wants to take people on tree walks. And then there's the person that volunteers at Botanic Gardens, and she wants to show people how to, start seeds. And then there's the solar people. And so you get left with this thing of like, oh my goodness, we have all these different ideas. So if you do an Earth Day festival, that becomes a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
That then you can say, all right, well, you can go over there, and this guy's going to teach you the bike, and this one, whatever. And so that's a really important strategy, is plan something. If you don't want to do Earth Day, you could plan a sustainability fair. Maybe your neighborhood already has like a summer festival, and you can glom onto that. That's what some of the teams do. They have like a sustainability area that's part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about an Earth Day festival, the one we did in Longmont, we tried to get a very small space because we were brand new. We didn't have a bank account. We didn't have any money. We didn't really even have we had nothing. So we tried to find like a gym, a high school gym or middle school gym or something. And they all, either they wanted a deposit or they wouldn't book that far in advance. So we contacted the Boulder County Fairgrounds, and this is a space like 10 times bigger than we wanted, but they would hold the date for us a year in advance.
Wow.
And they didn't need the deposit until December, and it was April. So we're like, well, it's 10 times bigger, but it's the only place we can. So we had this place that was 10 times bigger, and on that day we ended up having about 1,200 people.
Wow,
that
amazing.
Showed up. Yeah. And it was so cool, Mike, because like everybody had told us nobody cares about this stuff in Longmont.
Uh-huh.
And then on that day, we had 35 youth booths. So either youth that were performing music or had their own games, and we're teaching about, marine animals and pollution and everything. So we had 35 youth groups and then 35 nonprofits. The mayor came, city council people came, but you see 1,200 people come of their own volition to learn about the environment, that it just obliterated the myth that people in Longmont don't care.
That sounds amazing too. And of course, another question that popped up as well too was some of the qualifications, like to be part of the green team. It's like any specific qualification, or you just simply have to have enthusiasm to get on there, even when people have really busy lives.
Yes, that is a really good question, because that is a concern that a lot of people have. It's like, but it's kind of funny because right now, isn't it weird that everything changed after the pandemic, where coronavirus? Because it used to be that people like, okay, well we're getting ready for school, we're getting the kids out of the house, we're both going to work, then we're picking them up and we're taking them this activity and that, and then we're going out to dinner, and that kind of thing has changed a little bit now. It'll be interesting to see if people go back to that same level of busyness, or if they come up with a new normal where they have a little bit more leeway. But I think one of the things that I've found, Mike, it's been really interesting. Like when I started the team in Denver, like when we came together, people were kind of almost crying with joy because they felt so alone in their caring about the environment. A lot of times the person that does care, their family members don't really get it.
Uh-huh.
So when they came into a group where there's other people having that same experience, it really was more like a support group. And you think about it, if you're in tune, you're deeply in tune to like that species going extinct, and all these predictions of pandemics and wildfires, and then you're seeing this stuff happening and going, oh my God, this is what the science has been telling us is going to happen, and you're personally freaking out. it's really the people that you reach out to, they often find it to be valuable for more of that support and the social setting, because that's what people are lacking, is they're busy doing their own thing and they don't have a sense of community. A lot of people they're not going to church or to their faith community like they did as a kid maybe. And so they don't have like a regular place to get together with people that are, you can do it in your neighborhood. We have teams that are doing it at their faith communities. Some are in schools. So it's people that are already in the same spot that then make this smaller group. And so really there's no qualifications.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it sounds like it's just fueled on enthusiasm. And what are some of the common mistakes that too many teams make and end up giving up?
Yeah, great question. And I would say so many teams do this, and that's why I really recommend that if anybody's interested in trying something, then please, I beg you, go sign up for the Green Team Essentials on the greenteamacademy.com website, because it's going to show you that list of all the common mistakes, so you're not going to have to waste decades. But so we talked about the Earth Day Festival. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. Here's another one that, again, I think a lot of people in the environmental movement, we feel like we're kind of just nagging people and we're bothering people, and then we're telling them bad news all the time and trying to get them to change. And so
the sky is falling, Chicken Little.
Exactly. But, we know like these kind of statistics like that, 60% population, like we know stuff is happening, but it's hard to, just bump into somebody and have that kind of conversation. So one of the things that I help people see is to kind of flip that around and think, okay, who are you, like your team, who are you the solution for? And what I like them to do is come up with a list of 100 ideal partners. And that kind of flips it around, because that's kind of my message. If you're trying to do something and you're not, and it's like a good basic idea. Like let's say that there's a school garden that has been abandoned. It used to go great guns 5 years ago. Whoever was doing it moved away, and now it's, just weeds. Right. And you're like, okay, I want to do this. So you might go, talk to the principal like on your own and not get anywhere. But let's use that as an example. So if you're not able to make something happen, it's a good idea, then you don't have enough partners. So who would you be the solution for? So then you just start thinking, okay, well, there's a gardening club. Like they would love to see more gardens. There's like the healthy children's, I don't know, whatever nonprofit or city programs that are for getting kids healthier. So any kind of child wellness organization. Maybe there's something on local food, or maybe there's a teacher in the school that teaches cooking, or the science teacher, or the environmental teacher, or I don't know, maybe there's like a local garden shop that would love to be part of this thing. So you just keep going, and then you go, okay, well, at the principal level, like what is the mission of the school, and how can we read that to connect with the garden? Like, what is the school mission? Okay, how does this fit it? Or is there like a science club and they need some activity, or maybe like the National Honor Society, they need service hours. So you build this beautiful web around you of all these people need something, and lo and behold, you're in the center and you have a really simple solution. So that's what I didn't do in NIWA when I just did it, just made calls. I didn't ask anybody to partner or do anything with me. So that's a really important one, is think of yourself, see yourself as the solution to 100 ideal partners, and then assign those contacts to your team members and go from there.
That is fantastic as well, too. You talk about the Green Team Academy. We'll talk more about that. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking our budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Joan Gregerson from Denver, Colorado. She's head of the greenteamacademy.com. Also got a new book that's going to be coming out in June 2020, Climate Action Breakthrough, and, of course, taking orders as well, too, and talked about the benefits of, like, say, starting a farmer's market, what to do, starting a successful green team and everything else. And, of course, you also got the Green Team Academy, which everything came from. And tell us about the Green Team Academy and how it got started.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm excited to do that. So I started it in 2018. That's when I kind of realized I, took a little bit of a retrospective look and thought, oh my goodness, here I've been trying to make an impact for all these years, and it's finally happening. What am I doing? What actually works here and what doesn't? So I thought, what? People need to know what these strategies are that work. And so I had a pretty good idea from what I had done in Longmont and then in Denver with the Congress Park Green Team that went on to become outstanding sustainable neighborhood in the Denver program. But I thought, what? I need some more examples. And so I started the podcast. I started interviewing people, and I did the Earth Week Summit where I interviewed 20-some people from around the world and started getting, these threads of what are best practices. And then so I now have coaching. I put it all together in a course. So I have an online course and I have coaching. And the other cool thing that I did was in 2019, I had the opportunity to mentor 22 teams for the full year.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so cool, Mike. Like the people that showed up, I worked with a faith community. This is St. Ignatius Loyola Church. They started their own community garden. They changed out their lawn, parts of their lawn. They now grow food and give it to the poor in their neighborhood. And they also do cooking classes.
Nice.
Around that. A lot of the people in their neighborhood are from Africa directly. And so they consulted with the neighbors and asked them, what kinds of foods would you like? Like, what kinds of foods do you have a hard time finding? And they grow that. So like collards and mustard grains and things that are like these super nutritious foods.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're a great example. They did an electronics recycling event where they gathered like a couple 1,000 pounds of electronics from the neighborhood one day. So, they just think of things and do it. So in 2019, I was able to mentor 22 teams. I actually got a little award for that at the Denver Sustainable Mayors Summit, or the Mayors Sustainable Denver Summit. I got the Community Builder Award.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But I mean, it was really the teams. One person, Felicia Alvarez, she's with the Denver Art Museum Green Team, and she's also part of the Native American community. So, she set up zero waste stations at powwows, and some of our other teams went and volunteered with her. And, it was just like this really cool collaboration. And so that really proved out my ideas of, if people just get together, they can learn from each other what works.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would love is, I love cities. So what I'm advocating now is that cities and corporations, nonprofits, if they're interested in seeing things happen quickly, then fund those, support, mentor, fund, whatever, those people that are out in the community doing things. One other quick example, Beverly Grant here in Denver, she started 2 farmers markets in food desert areas in predominantly African American neighborhoods. And I live maybe 4 miles away from where she did one. I can walk within a mile. There's probably 7 grocery stores near me.
Wow.
And where she is, there's like nothing.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, exactly. So, I mean, she's a great example of knowing what the community needs, and her farmers market is awesome. They have drumming, they have Zumba classes, they have a DJ, so she knows what the community wants, and she, welcomes them and designs it for them. So that's my message, is that if there's city people, nonprofits, corporations that are trying to make things happen for climate action, go to those community leaders and ask them, what do you need? Because they already know, and they can really make a lot of progress quickly.
That's fantastic, too. Amazing. And any plans of expanding your program outside Denver, like, say, going to other areas in Colorado, like, say, Boulder, Durango, or any plans of, like, going outside Colorado, maybe going, like, nationwide or global?
Heck yeah, global, Mike. It's the world. I don't need to go to Mars, but if we can figure this out on planet Earth, that's as far as I want to expand. But yeah, I mean, most of the stuff that I do is online. I did get the opportunity to mentor those 20 teams. That was in Denver, that was in person. But most of what I do is online. So my course and my coaching and that Earth Week Summit is all online. So yeah, I interviewed some really cool, I want to call them kids. They're not kids, but they're, like early 20s from Uganda, and another guy from Sierra Leone that are doing cool things. So yeah, there's no limit to this idea. It's applicable everywhere, and a lot of people, there's great stories already of it happening around the world. We just need to share this message that if you want to do something, start a team.
Fantastic. And what are your upcoming plans for 2020 with the Green Team Academy and beyond?
Well, we're the launch of the book, the Climate Action Breakthrough book, that comes out in June 2020. That's going to be pretty exciting. I also, if anybody's out there is really interested in this, I have an advanced reader crew. And I have more info on that on my website under books, under Green Team Academy. So that's a big thing. And we'll be doing a lot of speaking and traveling, because the thing is, we don't have time to waste on this. So the more I can get this message out quicker, it's a very simple message, but it's just overlooked. So that's my thing, is in 2020 to be doing a lot of speaking and a lot of training and helping cities and whether it's homeowners. I'm working with somebody that's a homeowners association manager for 60 neighborhoods, and they want to start green teams in their neighborhoods. So those are the kinds of things that I'll be working on.
That's fantastic. We're looking forward to all that. And don't forget, there's a Green Team Academy podcast. Tell us more about that. And how can we listen to your podcast, and where?
Yes, thank you for asking. The Green Team Academy podcast, you can head over just to greenteamacademy.com under podcast, start there. But it's also on Stitcher and on Apple and Google and a couple other places. I'm not as good as you as remembering all the places that it is, but hopefully that gets you started. And and on YouTube as well. I think that was the other one. Yeah, and the thing is, if there's somebody out there that's listening, I'm really glad you mentioned this, Mike, because I wanted to mention, if you're out there and you're doing something in your community, so whether it's at a school, a neighborhood, your workplace, anything, faith community, I would love to interview you and spread the word about what your team is doing. So on that website, there's apply to be a guest for a podcast. And that's what I do, is I just share the stories of what people are doing that's working, so that we can all figure this thing out before it's too late. And the kind of cool thing is, with the pandemic, has, like everything, it has a really horrific, the pandemic in particular has a horrific side to it. But it is definitely giving us time to pause and rethink. And that's what the subtitle of my book is: Creating the World We Want, One Team at a Time. And I think that's the message that I really want to put out there, is that this particular moment in time is unprecedented. And we now have this opportunity to create the world that we want. We want a world where 20 years from now, there's not fewer mammals, birds, fish. We want to figure this out.
Mm-hmm. And of course, most importantly, everything starts at home.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and that's one of the main things. Then you work in a community and you just build forward. And, of course, we encourage everybody to do that. And, of course, lastly, we'd love to have you back on, Joan, as well, too. Talk more about the recent summit, the latest on your book, and what's been up and coming as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I think Jane Goodall. I want to be Jane Goodall.
Interesting. Yes, read about her stuff. That's fantastic. So
she's just such a beautiful person. Have you seen the thing where they release the gorilla, and the gorilla's supposed to run into the forest, and then it comes back and gives her a hug and then goes? I just think she's just got such a beautiful way of operating, where she's so open-hearted to animals, mm-hmm. and I feel like she hasn't gotten jaded as she's seen what's happening. She's still just this really gentle but honest advocate for animals and for the planet. And she has this great quote that the greatest danger of all is apathy. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's a good one to end on.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I was thinking about what Jane Goodall as well, too. If she were here today, what would she say about the climate and the situation here on Earth and America? What would she say?
You know what? She is here.
Okay.
And she is, she's just saying stuff like that that our greatest danger is apathy. And the cool thing about Jane is she started something called Roots and Shoots.
Roots and Shoots, interesting.
Roots and Shoots. And it is also a team kind of thing. It's getting people to get together and work on stuff. There's a lot of schools. There's actually, Jane Goodall was actually in Colorado a couple years ago, because there's a Roots and Shoots club, or at least there was, at the Boulder County Jail.
Oh, wow, in jail, amazing.
And she went and visited them.
Oh, how do you like that cool. Of all places? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
right.
that
but
is something.
Who doesn't everybody likes animals, that's, and we're animals. So I think she has a really beautiful way of connecting people to our love. Mm-hmm. Of nature. So yeah, she's a big influence for me.
And that's fantastic. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
The best advice I can give is a quote by Joanna Macy. And one of the reasons a lot of people don't work in the environmental movement is not because they don't care. It's because they care a lot and they can't handle it. So my advice is this quote from Joanna Macy, which is, don't be afraid of your heart breaking open, because a broken heart can hold the whole universe. So don't avoid thinking about all these, coral reef dying and fish population and all these things that are really hard to handle. Don't stop there. Just let your heart break open and make that connection with whatever it is that you care about, and then realize that you yourself are the leader that you've been waiting for, and you just find one other person, and now you're a team.
Wow, I did not even think about that. That is very unique, Joan. Once again, Joan Gregerson of Green Team Academy, author of the book Climate Action Breakthrough, coming out in June 2020 here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we go, Joan, we'd love to have you back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. We'd love to have you back. You've been great. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, how do people get involved, and where can people purchase your book?
Awesome. All right. Well, great. Well, the Green Team Academy, so it's TEAM, greenteamacademy.com. If you just head there, you'll be able to find everything. So if you want to get those, start with the Green Team Essentials, that would be a good place to start. If you want to dive in and listen to all kinds of interviews, then you can check out the Earth Week Summit. So I now have the 2019, the 2020. If you want to sign up to do one of my live trainings that I often do, if you want to sign up for the courses and coaching, or find out the book, all of that is there. The book will be available on Amazon, but before that, you can always find it under books, under greenteamacademy.com. So I would just go ahead and start there. I do a lot of webinars, and like sometimes I'll do Saturday morning lives for a month or two and just hang out with people that want to talk about green teams. So I would just head over there, see what I got going on, and you can always just send me a message on the contact page, and let's find a time to chat. So this is the thing. This is a thing for us to figure out. So I'm all ears. If you have ideas, I would love to chat with anybody.
Sounds great, Joan. Once again, Joan Gregerson here on the Mike Wagner Show at the Green Team Academy. Thank you very much for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. We'd love you to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. You've been great.
Thanks so much, Mike, and thanks, everybody. And remember, everybody, the time for action is now, because there is no planet B.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.